What happens when your worst fear becomes your reality? Hi, I'm Brent Cassidy. Welcome to the Nightmare Success In and Out podcast, where we explore how to overcome your fears and nightmares to set yourself free. We're going to be exploring this topic with guys I was in Leavenworth with and others who served time at other prisons. We're going to be talking about life before prison, life in prison, and life out of prison. These stories can be inspiring, sometimes sad. There's some humor, but hopefully you can come away with a nugget of something that will help you knock down some of the prisons you built up in your own mind. Today, folks, I'm going to tell you how much I really am appreciating my friends that are turning me on to some of these stories. Tony Giordano, a lifetime friend of mine, listens to the podcast, and he came across an article, I think it was in the St. Louis Business Journal, and he said, "Man, you gotta read this article. This is a cool story, and this Stanley Prince guy sounds like a guy you'd want to talk to." And so I read through this story, and I thought, man, this is a guy I want to talk to. It opens up with, after Stanley Prince returned home after 26 years in prison, he says he struggled to maintain employment as he dealt with post-traumatic stress disorder. He said, "It was hard for me to keep a job, so I finally decided to save my money up and start my own business," which he has. He was part of the Harris Stowe program that they had just started, and it's for people who had been in prison. And it's Harris Stowe's new Minority Entrepreneurship Collaboration Center for Advancement. And Stanley went through that program, and he's doubled his business since he's been in that out of that program. But what a story! I actually went and listened to his story last weekend that he gave at his church, and man, just riveting. Just something that kept me at the edge of my seat. So, Stanley Prince, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure.
So, what a story. Obviously, somebody who was in prison for 26 years, we were just talking about this before we got started. You know, the amount of things that change and how life moves forward. You know, I was in for 3 years, and I had that feeling that I was jumping into a moving car. I can't imagine your feelings and how you felt when that happened. But I want to first go back to Stanley, you growing up as a kid. Tell us a little bit about what was Stanley doing? What was your life like growing up as a kid?
My life was great. I had awesome parents. My mother in particular was she was the backbone. She was a strength, you know. I never seen anyone work as much as her, you know what I mean, and provider. She was a provider, man.
Role model.
Yeah, she was a trooper, you know what I mean? And so growing up, watching her, you know, work jobs and stuff, you know what I mean, and I just wanted to help her, you know. So, you know, because she would come home so tired, you know what I mean? And it was like, you know, I don't want my mother to keep working like that, you know. I'm a mama's boy, you know what I mean? So it's like, man, I want to take care of my mother, you know what I mean? And so I would start going around the grocery store and carrying grocery bags for people and stuff like that, hustling soda bottles. I find soda bottles. I would save them up until I get as many as I can because back then they had these big old bottles.
How much they get you for a big bottle?
About like 15 cents.
Wow, okay.
You know,
all right.
That was a lot of money.
That is.
A lot of Baby Ruths.
Yeah, that's right.
Butterfingers, because, you know, back then the candy bars was big.
Yeah.
Man. So that was the thing I grew up doing, just like really want to provide for my mother and help her and stuff. So
You have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have a brother named Anthony. Well, let me start like this. My oldest sister name is Sylvia. Okay. She lives in Texas now. She just got married, matter of fact, a few months ago. And it was me, then my brother Anthony, then my sister Annette, then my baby sister Robin. It was 5 of us.
5 of you.
Yeah, so, you know, I was pretty much the big brother, even though I wasn't the oldest.
Right.
But, you know, I was the big brother, so I would like to protect her, you know, so that's how I grew up, man.
So school and that, sports, what all kind of went on when your world of getting into school age and
Well, see, school
being around the
is the
neighborhood.
thing that I talk about a lot, you know what I mean? And I really appreciate education now because as a kid, I used to stutter. And people, in fact, so many people find it hard to believe
I do.
that I would never talk because
You're afraid.
I would stutter. And so whenever the teacher would call me to read or something, I will become the class clown because people going to make fun of me anyway because I stuttered. I really could not
You distract them by being funny.
Funny, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would do stuff, and so that's how my education. That's why I never did receive education, you know. And I started skipping school a lot, So I figured if I skipped school during the daytime and stuff when my mother and father was at work, I'd go down to the grocery store, Nationals or whatever, and I help carry bags and stuff like that. But so I also know back then they had these guys they called officer friendlies.
Yeah.
And they used to walk the neighborhoods and stuff. And so when you see them, you would run because if they see you, they want to know why you.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Why you not in school?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's the time I grew up in and stuff. But boxing was my thing.
Okay.
But I had asthma real bad, so my mother never would not let me into sports. And so I was a great Muhammad Ali fan because my father loved Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
Ali, man. So I took on boxing. But that was later after I finally got out of this asthma thing, you know, because my mother wouldn't let me do too much because I have asthma attacks because I couldn't breathe. So I grew up in this neighborhood. Let me tell everyone, I grew up in between Kings Highway and Highland, up the street from the First DePaul Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a real good neighborhood, working class families, you know, with good jobs, nice homes and stuff. And so it was the hospital was down on the corner on Kings Highway. And our street is real, real long, man. To get from Kings Highway to Highlands long. And so I go down, I would always go down there because I was a fan of nurses, man. They were so beautiful.
I love it.
As a kid, man, the nurses, they were so beautiful, brother. So it was like, and they always smell like baby powder, smell real good and fresh, you know. And so I would make it my business to get down there like early in the mornings, because that's when they come and go to work, you know what I mean? And I run down and catch them. So this officer say, didn't I tell you about being down here this day? And so the security guard, so I took off running up the street. And I get in the house, and my mother like, why are you running so fast? She said, boy, calm down. Because she thought I was finna have an asthma attack. And that's when we learned I had grew out of my asthma attack.
Because you were able to run
away.
away.
Asthma, yeah.
No
so
asthma.
I started boxing, you know. And so
how old would you have been when you started boxing?
I started boxing when I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
Because I had got a charge when I was 9. I went to the store for my mother, and one of the bullies in the neighborhood tried to take my money. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I was a big Western fan. I used to watch cowboy movies, you know what I mean? So, and you know, back then, the cowboy movies, what they would do, bust a bottle on the counter, and then they would fight you with, use it like a knife.
Yeah.
And so I remember that, and I saw a bottle when the guy tried to take my money from me. When I bust that bottle open and use that knife, and I cut this guy up real, real bad, and I end up in juvenile for like 2 days. And they finally let me go. They found out that the guy was one of the neighborhood bullies and stuff, and they believed my story, let me go. And from there, man, I just started getting in trouble, man.
So because your mom, you said you were real close to. And was your dad around?
Yeah, he was around a lot. He just worked, you know.
Worked a lot.
Yeah, he worked a lot.
So what was mom thinking when you were getting into these crazy messes?
What we gonna do with him? She like, Stanley, if you just go to school, you know, don't you know you can be something great? You know, she said, if you just go to school, she said, why you won't go to school?
Yeah.
You know, and I would tell her and stuff, you know, and she was like, just take your time and talk, and you'll be okay, you know, and let your teachers know the words that you don't know and stuff, because I couldn't read, and I was real afraid to read because words look like something foreign and me, like, what is this? You know what I mean? And she was always begging me, and that's why today I'm so lifted, man. That's why I really had to tell my story, because I really hurt my mother, you know what I mean? And this is what she always wanted. She just knew if I ever go to school and learn to read and write, I can do something great with my life. You'd be just fine. Yeah.
Well, so let's go, because then I guess when we're getting in trouble, were you with a group of people that were kind of getting in trouble too, or did it feel like it was normal to be in that world of being in trouble, getting in trouble?
when you playing hooky, you run into guys that's
Right,
playing
because
hooky.
they're not in school either. Right.
You know, so these become your friends, your hangout buddies, you know.
Yeah.
And one thing lead from another, stealing bikes,
breaking
in garages,
you
know, doing all the kind of little petty crimes. And now you find yourself in juvenile centers and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and you go to juvenile, you stay a couple of weeks, then you get out, then you back around these guys again, you know, and now you hang. I was big for my age, so I'm hanging around older guys.
Yeah.
You know.
And you're still boxing.
Yeah, I'm still boxing.
Yeah.
One of the best fighters in the neighborhood. Nobody wanted to pick on me. I could fight.
I would say that'd be a big deal.
Yeah, that'd be. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
be a good boxer in your neighborhood.
Yeah. So I just started hanging around older guys, and being hanging around older guys, I'm interested now in older girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 13. I'm interested in girls that's 16, 17 years old, you know. And so my friends, they like 17, 18 with cars, and I'm liking these girls, and they telling me, man, you ain't gonna better get this girl. What you gonna do? Or what you gonna do? Walk her to death?
You don't even have a car.
You don't have a car.
You don't have a driver's license.
Yeah. So
walk her to death.
Yeah. You need to start getting your money.
Get her to ride a bike.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's go into because I know you kind of skimmed into when I was listening to your story Sunday. Walk us into the nightmare that happened for you, when it happened, and what happened to get you into the world of being taken into custody and getting the time.
Drugs. Let's not be evasive of it. Drugs. Man.
Was it a deal, Stanley, where you were getting into drugs and then to be able to support that, you were then selling the drugs?
Man. Using. Trying to make sure I be able to keep using. I started selling them, and then I found myself using more than what I was selling. Now I'm doing other crimes, going in stores, shoplifting. Man, you know.
Did you feel out of control?
Yes, I did. I really did. You know, one day I felt so out of control. I just seemed like my life was just finna be over. And I just started praying. I just started talking to God. I'm walking down the street, like, talking to God, like, man, save me. Like, you know, I really felt like my life was finna just end, man. I can't, you know, I didn't want it to. You know, I didn't want it to.
So when you got, what, can you walk us through the night that it happened?
Yeah, I hadn't been able to hustle and get no money. At this time, I had a heroin addiction. And I couldn't get no money. You know, I couldn't hustle. It was like, and so a friend of mine's, I saw him around the store. And he had just comped, and he had got him some, and he was like, Stanley, you look bad, man. You look like, you know what I'm saying, like death on you or something. You know what I mean? He said, man, you really sick? I said, man, I'm sick, man. I'm really dope sick. And so he gave me some of his, you know, so I run around to the house, to my mother's house, and I never used my mother's house. I never wanted her to know that. I knew she knew I was onto something, but I never wanted her to just actually know, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I'm thinking my mother's not even at home. So I go in the house, it's so quiet, you know, like ain't no TVs on or nothing, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking my mother at work, you know, and she's not home. I go up in the bathroom and I fix. And right when I fixed and hit myself, you know, right when I ran the drugs, the door opened, And there my mother was. And you know, I'm good now. I think I really have been delivered from it since Sunday, because this is something I never could talk about, never wanted to share, because I really hurt her. I've never seen nobody with so much pain in their face, man. I mean, it's like she had seen something from a horror movie. Like, she really was afraid. My mother was afraid. I've always been protective of my mother. I love my mother, man. I'm telling you, I really love her. My mother was a beautiful woman, beautiful person. Mm-hmm. She was real good to us. You know what I mean? And and that was so hard for me to get over, just knowing what I did to her, man. How could you do that to her? You know, it's like, and she asking me, Stanley, what's wrong? Why do you hate yourself? You know, because she's a country girl. She's never, none of her brothers, nobody that she know have ever done that. And she's trying to figure out what is going on. We know, why would you do yourself like that? And then when she walked in the bathroom to grab my arm and seen my track, she just fell out. It's like,
it's too much.
Yeah, it was too much for her. You know what I mean? And man.
Yeah, it's tough.
And you know, that's why I never use again, don't do no drugs or nothing, but because she asked me, why did I hate myself? She asked me, why did I hate myself? You know, and it done like, for somebody to do that to themselves, they must hate themselves. You know, how could you let somebody trick you into doing yourself like that? You know what I mean, brother? It was like, you know, so.
You think she had any idea, Stanley?
Yeah, she did. She thought that something had happened to me in prison the first time, or juvenile, that made me, you know what I'm saying, want to do that stuff. This was later on in years. And so when she came to see me in 93, she had just lost both of her breasts, fighting breast cancer. She came to see me, and she just wanted to know what happened to me, you know, to make me want to do that. You know, she really wanted to know, you know, because I had caught my case in 91.
When you caught your case in 91, did you know at that time, between the time that you got arrested and the time that they sentenced you, did you have an idea that you were going to be looking at that much time?
No, I really didn't. I didn't know, because I thought maybe I've been getting a year.
Sure.
3-year sentences,
right?
5-year sentences.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't think.
How old would you have been when that happened? When you got this big sentence?
I was 26.
You're 26.
Yeah, I was 26, and so when they give me the 10 years, so I do 10, I'm gonna be 36 when I get out. So I'm looking at that now, 36, and now I got to wait for the Fed case.
Yeah,
and see, what a lot of people don't know is, like, I end up doing 11 in the state. And they released me to the streets because the feds didn't come and get me. The feds thought that they thought I was already in Fed custody. Yeah. So somehow all that transpired to get me to the streets and to get me to the feds. And so I get a taste of freedom, and I'm like, what? Because I'm just knowing I'm finna go straight to the feds.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, they finally catch me. I didn't know they was even looking for me.
And how long had you been out?
Going on 2 years. So I go in 91. I come home in 2001. In 2003, January, they come to the house and they catch me. At this time, I'm selling heroin and got guns. And so now I got a bigger Fed charge. So that's how I end up doing all the time.
Okay, so let's back up, because you did 11 years, and I think people talk about it as one of the worst prisons down in Jefferson City. Can you explain walking in there first time, Stanley, and how you lived your life in there?
When you first walk into Jefferson City, let me say this. I am so happy that place is tore down.
Yeah.
That is a nightmare.
What'd they call it, the walls?
Yep, the walls.
Yeah.
When you first walk in, you walk through this big old door. And when everybody get in, they make you keep facing forward. And so when you're facing forward, you get distracted by this sign that says, "Welcome to Jefferson City, Missouri State Penitentiary." leave all your dreams and hopes behind, and that's when that big door closed, boom, and it makes you turn around and you realize you in. That is a nightmare. That place was designed to
be
torture
a nightmare.
you. It was designed. The whole setup was designed to torture you mentally, physically, take your spirit from you. It was scary, man. I've seen movies about these prisons and stuff. You know what I mean? But to actually go there, and now you finna be in her. Yeah. It was crazy.
So when you walked in there, kind of walk us through that. Was it a 2-man cell?
Yeah, it was a 2-man cell. Yeah. They put you in a 2-man cell, and back then they just put you in the open cell. Wherever cell is open. And that's how a lot of guys was getting molested. They put you in cells where guys been locked up forever. You don't know no better. You go to sleep, and all of a sudden somebody choking you out. You know what I mean? So it was like, you would hear these moaning and crying, people asking for their mamas and stuff, man. And people pleading, don't do me like this. You know what I mean? It's like, guys, you would actually hear this stuff. And people want to know why so many of us, that's why I was saying at my event, I was like, why do they not evaluate people mentally when they come out of prison? Yeah. They just make sure you ain't got AIDS. Yeah. Make sure you ain't got no more wants. Yeah. Out for you and stuff like that, and they check your eyes, put this thing around your eyes, make sure you can see. Right. And then they shove you out on the street. Yeah, they shove you right out on the streets. Yeah. But they don't never evaluate you to see if you have any type of mental thing going on with you, how's your mindset? Yeah. It's like they don't care.
So I'm curious because, hearing and seeing this daily nightmare of this living environment, what kind of strategies did you use to become part of that world, to not lose yourself?
Listening to my uncles and them, they grew up in the streets. My friends, like I was telling you now, I grew up hanging out with older guys who had done time and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so they'd be sitting around talking about the stuff, so you listen. Because you're in the streets with them now. One day you might end up in here. So you're paying attention to what these guys are saying. Right. And one of the things that always stay with me is that you do not trust no one. You do not trust no one. You keep your guards up 24/7. Anybody walk up to you, man, too fast, you swing. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's a warden standing there. Wherever it happened at, that's where it go down at. You know what I mean? So that was
inmate rules.
Inmate rules, right? So you don't let nobody tell you, man, meet me around here, meet you where. No, it started right here, so that's where it's going down at. So those are things that gave me survival mode when I walked in, So I had this mindset already. So I didn't trust nobody, my friends, nobody.
Did you know anybody?
Yes, I knew a lot of guys. Yeah. When I came here from growing up being out of different juvenile centers and stuff like that. So these guys end up in prison. Some of the guys from my neighborhood, they big brothers. And
they helped you kind of transition.
No, I was like staying away from them. I didn't trust none of them.
Right. Yeah.
At this prison now, we're on a whole nother level now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, what's up? And that's that. But I got off into me. I watched my own self. I really, really thank God that I had that sense of ability to just trust Stanley. You know what I mean? Like, get off to myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. And trust me. So.
So what did you do? Did you have a prison job in there? What'd you do as a prison job?
I worked in food service. Yeah. Washing pots and pans, the big steam pots and stuff.
Huge pots.
Yeah. What you know about that?
Well, I was at the food warehouse, and I Leavenworth. And, the guys that made, I would drive the big truck down and deliver it to the prison. So, I saw the whole kitchen set up, with the guys that were in the, man, those are gigantic pots, huge pots. Yeah. So how did you, as far as to eat your time up, what did you do to get by?
I worked out a lot.
Worked out a lot.
I really did. I worked out a lot.
That was a strategy.
Yes. that was one of the things I always found me a spot.
Made you feel better too.
Yes, it made me feel better. You know, it made me sleep good at night because, man, I don't hear people talk about this. But, you know, the hardest time in doing time, do you know when that time is? When you lay down. That mental is rough. You think about everything. You can run the compound all day, work out, you know, play cards and dominoes. But, man, at bedtime, that's one of the things you just you dread. You don't want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as soon as you lay down, you start missing home. You start thinking about your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, who she got a boyfriend
right.
now?
What's going on?
No, you know what I mean? Like, you think about this stuff.
Well, when you went in, Stanley, this time period where the state prison stint of the 11 years, family-wise, did you have girlfriend, son, daughters?
Well, I had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
A girl I really, really, really loved. I loved her. But she told me, she wrote me a letter before I went to prison.
Yeah.
She came down to the city jail, and she looked me in my face and told me that she's not going to wait for me. She, you know, she sent me a birthday card. I should be getting in the mail in a couple of days. That would be the last time I would hear from her. She's not going to do this time with me. That she's not going to do it, and so.
So you knew you were on your own. What about your parents? How did that all play out?
Well, my mother, she was still like messed up from seeing me shooting dope. Let's just say it the way it was. With that needle in my arm, you know. But she was also like happy now that she know where I'm at now. Yeah, you know, it's like ain't no drugs in prison. That's what she thinking.
Right.
You know, but she thinking now I'm free from drugs. This might be the chance to help me get my life together. You know what I mean? She thinking that prison going to save me. And it did. It really did. You know, it took a while, but it did.
Okay, now let's fast forward into the fact that you get out of this mess pit and you're in between the state and the federal somehow. And how does this? Did they just break down the door and say, "Stanley Prince, you're under arrest. We've messed up. We got you."
Yes.
Okay.
It's my nephew's birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm taking him shopping, stuff for his birthday, and I got a pocket full of drugs, heroin. I'm selling heroin at this time. And the guy called me.
Well, let me ask you this. When you got out from state and you're in this, did you automatically think, man, I'm going back in hard. I'm going to get, right back into the drug deal. I'm going to get the money rolling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I did that, because I was illiterate. You got to understand at this time.
And this is what you knew.
Yeah, this is what I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I done it, and.
So it's your nephew's birthday.
Yep. And I go back to the house. I don't really trust this guy. I'm like, I need to go with a gun to deliver with this guy because there's always something with him. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to go home and get my gun. As soon as I drove up in the driveway, they came from everywhere. The feds.
Surrounded. They
surrounded the car. They was like, mind you, I went to the state for assault on police officers. So they got in their mind that I'm real dangerous.
Sure.
And
they've read your file.
Yep. And they was told he loved the kids.
Okay.
Excuse me. He's not going to put the kids in danger, and he has a car full of kids right now. Get him. And so that's why they jumped down on me when they did. So cause they knew I was. So I stuck my hand out the door, and my hands out. See that my hands was clear and stuff.
So they take you. I don't know how long that was between then and the sentencing. And then how much time they say they're going to give you?
They said they was going to give me 188 months. Whew. And I'm like, but if you tell us where you get your drugs from, we'll give you a shorter sentence. So I fired my attorney. I'm like, come on, you trying to make me a rat?
Yeah. make the time even that much harder.
It's harder, right? So I'm like, man, give me my time.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it. I took the 188 months. They wouldn't come down from it. I didn't want to keep staying in the county jail forever and ever. I'm like, come on with it. Let's get this time rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So they give me 188 months, and
it's a lot to swallow.
Yes.
After you'd already done 11.
Yes,
So where do they send you?
The first prison I went to was USP Terry Hut.
Okay.
And
Indiana,
first,
right? Yeah.
The first day in, a man get killed on the phone.
Mm.
We go on lockdown.
Mm.
We come off lockdown. Another guy stabs a guard. All you seen in USP Terry Hut, man, was stabbings. That place, violent. I thought Jefferson City was bad. Terry Hut, man, was like you knew you was in federal penitentiary.
Well, did you feel like it was different from between the state and the federal?
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be better because you hear people always talking about the feds feeds you good.
Yeah. Well, there's not as many federal prisoners either. I think there's 230,000 federal prisoners in the United States. I think there's 2.4 million state. So the federal prison system, everybody thinks it is huge, but there's not nearly as many. Mm-hmm. But, it's always interesting to hear guys that have been in both places, mm-hmm. Between mm-hmm. the state and the Fed.
Right.
But it was violent.
Oh, violent.
Did you know anybody when you went in there?
Yeah, I knew a few guys.
Yeah. Did that help you transition in?
No, it was like it made me stay away because these guys was from a different side of town in St. Louis. When you go to the federal penitentiary, you on homie time. Mm-hmm. You get with your St. Louis guys, you get with your Chicago guys.
Right.
You get with the Crip buddies. Mm-hmm. You get on count. You either with the Crips, you with the Bloods, you with the Vice Lords, the GDs, you with the white supremacists. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You with the Muslims. Yeah. You with the Moorish Americans. You with the Christians. Everybody got their little cliques. Mm-hmm. You get involved in.
And that's how the yards run.
That's how
It's not run by the federal correctional officers. It's run by who runs the yard, which is the gangs. Yeah. Yes. So were you able to assimilate into that world pretty easily?
No, it was rough.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm from the streets. I don't trust. So it was like I stand out to myself. I came here alone. I caught my time alone. Mm-hmm. I stand alone, mm-hmm. But the federal system won't let you because of how it's ran, and all these different people. So you have to be able to sit in a certain area.
Yeah.
You can't go over here and sit because it's the Crip time for them to be over here.
Yeah.
It's like it was crazy, man.
Don't sit in people's spots in prison.
Oh, man. Tell me.
That's the craziest thing. I remember we'd see guys when we had movie night in the gym, and a new guy would come in, and you'd see him bouncing all over the place because he didn't know where to sit.
That's how you know he's a new guy.
Right. Because the poor guy. He's going to miss the whole movie. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So getting into that, and now you're further away from home, obviously.
Right.
And you're not getting visits because, sometimes I think, the visits are something that give you a feeling that you can sit on I always felt like when you got a visit, you were almost like sitting on the fence. You could have one leg in the prison world and one leg in the free world. And it felt, and I think that's why it was so hard when they left, because you got pulled back into that prison world knowing that that wasn't your world. But that time that you had was really special. You appreciate it. And I always thought, a lot of people didn't get visits because either they were all around, the world and miles away. You're only supposed to be 500 miles away, but that rule gets broken a lot.
Yes.
But how did you handle hard days in prison?
Working out.
Yeah.
That was the thing for me. It really helped me survive a lot.
Did it help that people knew you were a good boxer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I bet it did. Did you teach guys how to box?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the guys went home and became a pro fighter. I'm gonna do another slideshow about that. You know, these guys.
He actually came home from learning from you. You mentoring him and became a boxer.
I helped keep him in shape. He already knew how to box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he wanted to get tuned up because he's going back home and he promised, man, he gonna become a pro, and he did, man. Sent me the films of his first fight. Yeah. And everything. So his name's Jawan Noble.
I will have to check that out. Mm-hmm. Did he have a decent career?
Yeah, he had a decent career. I think something happened. He had an accident or something, and so now he's just living for God. Yeah. You know, so.
Did you ever have to spend any time in the hole?
Wow. Did I?
Yeah.
Man, so you got to understand, I was in a lot of pain from what I done to my mother. Yeah. So any little thing could tick me off in prison. Yeah. I had an attitude.
You were a powder keg.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, once I get upset, I'm already dealing with pain. So to keep from dealing with this pain, you just gave me an excuse to take some of it out on you, you know. But I wasn't the type of guy to walk around bully nobody. That's why I have so many friends from prison. Yeah. On my Facebook, they love me. They see me. They like, "What's up, Prince, man?" Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, but that's
what a great name to have in prison too, Prince. Prince. I love that. A lot of guys need nicknames. You just for Prince.
Yeah, that was just my name, right? Right, man.
That's cool. I was Cass. I was not Prince.
Yeah, you was Cass, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, Prince is cool.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Cassidy.
Oh, it's just Cassidy.
Yeah. Okay. But, you know, there was a lot of different guys that had so many different names. And, you know, we had Tree Liquor and Droopy and Butterbean. And, I mean, you just go on and on. Moon Cricket. There was all kinds of different people out there. But the thing of it was that was one of the thing about prison, I thought, too, is it was a dark place. Mm-hmm. But there was humor, too. Yes. You know, it's a strange place that you would find humor, but at times you could have a good laugh, and you know, and it would kind of make you feel normal. And I think some guys, you know, they played sports like softball or basketball or volleyball to kind of feel normal. They go out in the yard and feel normal for a little while, and you know, that's what you say you worked out and made you feel a certain way, right. and that's. I think you've got to have that because, you know, I think there's two people that are in prison. There's the ones, it's like the Shawshank Redemption. Right. Get busy living or get busy dying. There's only two of them. Yeah. I mean, there's people that are trying to make it and there's the ones that gave up. Yeah. And you see the guys giving up. Man. And you see them all around. It is sad.
That's sad. I've seen so many guys just give up, just shut down.
Yeah.
Man. They just accepted this is it.
Yeah.
This all I want for the rest of my life is to be in here. You know, how can you receive that in your mind? Like, this is it. This is all you ever want for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? To be in prison, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
well, did you feel, because of the time that you did, you know, and we were talking about this before we got on, Stanley, it's hard for me to get my mind around the 26 years because even if you don't want it to be, you get used to that routine. Mm-hmm. You know, it becomes the routine, you know, even if it's the ugliest routine there is, because it's prison, it becomes something that becomes so familiar. It's a comfort in a way. And, you know, as you got, you know, you went time in the hole, you did, I'm sure, things that, you know, that affected you, you know, that made you a person that, you know, you are now, that because you got through all that. But as time got, you know, and you talked about this, the volunteers that came in and how can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Just the thing, when my son got killed, well, my mother died first. That took a lot out of me. And
there's nothing worse than being in prison and losing somebody.
It's like that took so much away from me because now I'm not I don't have a chance to get out and show her that I can live.
Right.
I can, I can
show her
good.
what you wanted could
what
be.
I mean?
Yeah.
And then my brother, we was there together, and he get out and get killed. So now I'm dealing with my mother, my only brother getting killed. And so then my son get killed, and that's when I lose my mind.
How old was your son?
He was 19. So I think everything.
So you lost those 3 people while you were in prison.
Right. And it's like everything just started coming. My aunt, my favorite aunt in the whole world, she's dying. You know what I mean? It's like, so then my cousin, after my son get killed, then one of my cousins I read about them got tortured and murdered and thrown on the streets. So I'm dealing with all this.
All the death.
At the same time, when I'm dealing with this stuff.
What I meant to ask you about with your son, did because of this all happening in, the 11 years and then how did he fit into your world?
Oh, man. I don't never talk about it until recently, but he never did. He was never given a chance. You know what I mean? It was like, you get to know me, now you don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, wow, where he go?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How did this happen so fast like this? You know what I mean? He come out.
Who'd he stay with?
His mother.
Okay.
And his sisters, it's like, he come out, I meet him, now I don't get to know him.
Yeah.
So now I wish I never had met him.
Right.
That's how his mind was working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's almost like a punishment.
Yeah, right.
Taken away. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Really tough.
But I want to say, but when Victor got killed, I almost lost it. And a guy named Randy, a lifer. He had been watching me a lot in prison and stuff, knew I was a good guy. I was one of the biggest guys on the compound, but I was one of the coolest guys. I wasn't no bully. I wasn't nobody that you had to worry about. They used to call me the big gentle giant, and he seen me losing it. And this is a white guy now. In federal prison, whites have to do their time, blacks do their time. There's a lot of segregation in prison.
Very primitive.
Yes, it is. And one day, he walked up to me. He said, whenever you feel like it, come down to the school and I'll help you read and write.
Wow.
And I looked at him and snapped. That's what you say to me, man? Because I'm angry right now. My son don't get killed. I'm like, man, who is you, man? I said, you don't know me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm tripping out on him. And he say, what you want to do? Spend the rest of your life in prison? Or do you want to go home and visit your son? And that's when it dawned on me that I still had a chance to visit him, at least go to his grave, my mother's grave. It's like everything started coming to me now. You know what I mean? And so I went at it, brother. The best move I ever made, and I don't believe I can say this louder or clear enough for the audience, but the best move I ever made was to learn how to read and write, getting my GED, and I still read and write to this day. I love it. That is the best thing that ever happened to me, was getting my education. And so getting my education led me to receive, this relationship I have with God and my friend Jesus. I'm telling you, I could not love him more. He's the best friend I ever had. Nobody has ever really tried to stir me right. And I receive it. I live by it every day. When I'm going through stuff, I turn to Jesus. I turn to God. I pray. This is the thing that really helped me survive the last 7 years of my sentence. And anybody that done time with me, they will tell you, I spent every free second I had in the chapel, in the library, around people that was educating themselves, reading. I learned how to read. I learned how to spell. I got my GED. I became the student of the year. And then I became the motivator of the year. I entered into a program, became a facilitator at this program called Men of Influence. And when I left there, I went to Florence. I was in Leavenworth at the time. Leavenworth, went to Florence, Colorado, and I ended all program. All I did my last 7 years of prison,
That's impressive.
2010. My son got killed in 2010. Those last 7 years was spent building me. I got to know me, brother. Listen, man. Audience, listen to me. Spend time getting to know who you are and know your worth. We are so, man, everybody, and nobody can steal your shine. Understand this. We are all uniquely made. Nobody can steal your shine or nothing. I mean, man, we are so special. We have to, you know what I'm saying, lock in to get to know who we are, get to know ourselves. And you will love yourself. I don't do nothing to hurt me. Nothing. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't fool around with people that's into nonsense. I don't do none of that stuff. It's up to us. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, and this is what I just want to just, you know what I'm saying, give to the audience. I want the world to know. Yeah. You know, man, we are so special, all of us, white, blacks, Puerto Ricans, and we all have a purpose, man. We can really get along and have a good life out here, man. Yeah. We can really do some good things out here.
It's so impressive, though, Stanley. You've taken hold and just start taking those steps into the unknown because you didn't know.
You know how to spell my name, brother?
No, it's so cool. And the volunteers that came in, were they part of that?
Yes, they really. That's why I donate and give a lot of my free time to different nonprofit organizations. That's why when you call, I came, you know what I'm saying, not asking for nothing. I just say, I will come because, see, I believe whatever I give to this podcast, somebody's going to receive something. Sure. I'm going to help somebody. Yeah. That's the whole thing, to give back, man. You know what I mean? You don't have to always wanting for stuff, have to get paid to do this and that. And so the volunteers, if these guys was retired, they could have stayed at home. These ladies, they could have stayed at home with their families. Their family's okay. But no, they free time, they came into prison to visit. Guys like me didn't have nobody to come and visit. That was so special. So that's why I pay it forward, man. I give it back.
Well, you made some real connections because one of the people that you made that connection with was there Sunday.
Yes.
There was a volunteer at the prison, and you played. Well, I'll let you tell the story of it because all that work you put in actually created an opportunity for you to get released. You want to share that story?
Yes. Listen. Okay. I when I went to Florence, Colorado, I enter every class available. I swear, hey, brother, listen.
Whatever you got.
It was so much going on up there. So I find myself in all these different classes. So I end up in the drug class, and I meet this man named Mr. Gallardo, you know, and he has been working in the federal system for like 30-something years, 30-something odd years. He has been working for the Federal Prison Bureau. So, you know, so every class, you know what I mean, we would go in it because I want to know, brother. Sure. Like, I'm asking questions about the letter. If you read the letter again, if you know how I read the letter, what he said, like, I was a challenge, man. It's like, I want to know. He'll say something. I'd be like, so how can I find out any truth in this? You know, stuff like that. You know, and so, but I don't know during this time that when he come to work, because in class, I'm always getting along with everybody, always attentive to the class, trying to learn better myself and stuff. But what I didn't know was that he was taking this serious. Like, is this guy coming here just putting on a show? So every time he would come to work, he would ask different staff members, you know what I'm saying, how is the guy Stanley Prince doing? What is Prince up to? You know, what kind of guy is he, you know? And then when he leave, he'll tell officer, man, just check him out and let me know how, you know what I'm saying, what he do when he's out of class and stuff. So he's investigating me the whole time. And so after I found out he done wrote this letter and everything, I'm finna tell you guys about it. After I found out he wrote this letter, he said he woke up one morning and he told his wife, I think I got a chance to help a man get out of prison. Wow. And he has never, ever done this his whole time working for prison. Wow. And she said, well, do it. Yeah. She said it just like that. If you feel like you can help a guy get out of prison, get him out. Yeah. Do it. And so I'm being called after Sue come in. Now this, who knew that I was going to be, you know, but anyway, after Sue come in and visit and stuff, I really started getting in class. I'm paying attention to her. And so now, all of a sudden, I'm getting called to the warden's office.
Which is never usually a good thing.
Never a good thing. Brother, look, when you get called to the warden's office, somebody done died.
Your mind starts spinning.
Right. Especially with me. Every time I've been called to the
Whatever
warden's office, somebody died. I don't got in trouble. So I'm like, Warden.
Don't believe what they're saying.
Yeah, right. I'm telling him, like, man, I say, Warden, please. I say, I'm doing good, man. I don't do nothing, man. Please don't believe nothing they say. It's not true. I was steady trying to convince him. But the thing that really got me is that while I'm sitting out there in front of his office, guards coming out that work my units, they come out of his office and looking at me, walking by, not speaking to me, not saying hello, Prince, or nothing, just walking on by their business. The sergeant come in, walk past me, go in the warden's office, come out, don't say a word to me, go about his business. The captains, the lieutenants, then the major, I'm like, they like, looking at me like, yeah.
He's
like,
done.
Yeah, like I'm done, And so I'm sitting after the major come out, I'm sitting there like a long 5 minutes. That was the longest 5 minutes ever before the warden came to the door and say, Chris, you can come in now. So I come in. He walked behind his desk. I'm standing there, knees knocking, scared to death. And he said, have a seat. I said, Warden, I can't sit down. He said, I need you to have a seat, Mr. Prince. So I've sat down. And I'm like, Warden, listen, man, I don't care what nobody done told you or nothing, man. I'm not a bad person. I have changed. I have accepted Christ in my life. I say, man, I just want to go home. I just want to go home and live my last day happy, get to know my family again and stuff. I'm pleading the blood of Jesus. I'm talking to the warden. He look at me and he say, I just need you to read this letter. And I look down and see this letter. I'm like, man, Warden. I say, man, don't believe it. I said, don't believe it, Warden. I haven't done anything, man. I don't bother nobody. I said, I just want to go home, man. I said, haven't I done enough time? I said, don't believe nothing. Nobody done wrote you. He said, you need to read this letter, Mr. Prince. And he turned it around and gave it to me. And the first thing I seen was, to whom it may concern. Those don't
start off good either.
That was not good for me. And my nerves really got bad. And so I read the letter. When I got done, he said, so you can read now. He said, so can you write? He gave me a piece of paper and stuff, and I'm writing my name and stuff, my prison number, what unit I'm in, what he asked me to meet me to write. I did that. And he said, Mr. Prince, Monday morning, by 10 o'clock, I need you off my compound.
Wow.
I'm like, what? So now I kid a lot now with a lot of different staff members and stuff. And so I'm thinking, is this some type of joke? Because I do a lot of joking with with the rec officers and everything. They all know me,
Yeah.
And so they used to be playing around and stuff. I kid a lot. And so I'm wondering, if they don't pull the fast one, they don't scare the wicks out of me. And I'm like, Warden. And he's like, 10 o'clock, Monday morning, I need you off my compound. And that's when I realized he was for real. And I see these papers say released. When I see released, it says 6/6/2017. My name.
3 years early.
And I'm like, what? That's when I see that he is for real. And I'm like, Warden, where do I go? I don't have no family. I don't know nobody. I said, where am I going to stay, Warden? This went down on me. I'm getting free, but I don't want to be in contact with nobody. I'm like, Warden, where am I going? Where am I going to live? He said, you go into a halfway house. They're going to give you food and shelter and stuff. I said, but I don't have no money. He said, we paying for the bus ticket. And they give me $25 check to put money in my pocket. And they let me go.
Wow. And in the letter, for those, and you read this the other day, Sunday, just an incredible letter, talking about what a model person you had been and how you had taken these programs and turned your life around, and that you were a good man that needed to be out in the world doing good things. And it was an incredible letter from someone who had watched you and, like you said, investigated Stanley. Yes. But he changed, in that position he was in, he felt like this was the one time he could change a life, and he did. But I think the other part of this is that you didn't even have time to prepare. A lot of guys kind of freak out. They get 3 months left or 6 months left. They start thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get back into the world? You've been in for 26 years, and now immediately you get this release, and they take you to the bus station. You get on the bus, and then you ask this man that's got one of these little square things.
That's what it was, one of those square things.
And you said, can you make a phone call for me?
Yes.
And he hands you the phone, and you said, what's this?
Yes.
What do I do with this?
I'm looking at it like, what is this thing?
So he dials it for you.
Yes. You make the phone call to Sue for me.
Who was the volunteer?
The volunteer, and
who you become close with. Yeah.
And we are super friends. I've been to up to her farm in Milwaukee and visit and stuff. And then also, I didn't get a chance to speak on this. My parole officer released me from parole 2 years early.
Wow.
So all these things was going on. And also, I'm an actor. I've done 3 stage plays in St. Louis. I've also done a movie,
right?
Here in St. Louis, and I'm still pursuing, my acting career as well.
Which is great.
Yeah, so.
Well, talk about this, though, Stanley, because the excitement of getting out of prison, there's nothing like it. I mean, you can't really explain that. It's a day that will never match any other day because there's not a day like it. But the other part of that is it's a mind hack. It's a your mind's spinning, and you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get back into this world, right?
Right.
And so you get back into this Dismas house. What do you start doing?
I immediately wanted to know.
Which is a bad place, by the way.
Yes, my house. God.
Good Lord.
Because I'm hearing from prison guys getting out and getting killed at this place.
Right, in front of the place.
Yeah, in front of the place.
Exactly.
Did you ever hear about this stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, these murders was actually happening
at the steps.
Yeah, at the steps.
Yeah. That goes around the prison before you ever get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
those stories have legs.
I'm scared to death really to go, but I'm like, at least I know I got somewhere to go until I can find me a job and get out. And so that's what I did. I hit the ground running. These men came in from a program called Father Support. Excuse me. They came in, and so when you first go in the halfway house, they had these people from different organizations come in, give you their presentation, what their program's about, and you welcome to come and visit, if you want to get in the program and stuff like that. And so I'm listening to these guys, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, maybe I need to go. And I did, and I met Mr. Darrell Colvin, who was there also. He became my mentor, my friend, my brother. That's not a better person God could have put in my life than him when I come home. It's like this man really, really tried to convey to us the things we can do to better ourselves, help us get jobs, everything. So I ended up getting 2 jobs, working at Nephews and then working at Riley's. So I can save up enough money so I can get house arrest because I want to get out the Desmond house.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be in there. No. I'm afraid. Really,
nobody wants to be in the Dismas.
Nobody. I'm afraid. You seeing clips up under the dryers and wash machines and stuff.
It's nasty.
You're right, man.
And it's dirty.
It's dirty. Yes.
There's nothing good about it.
Nothing good about that place. The food sometimes was okay because you've been eating prison food forever. That's the only thing.
Food wasn't too bad.
Right.
But everything else was horrible.
Right. And so started working. I got out to Desmond house. I got house arrest, and it's fast out here, man.
Yeah.
It was scary. It really was scary for me, to come home. And I didn't realize how depressed I was until years, like a couple of years, not like 18 months out. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah. What's going on with me?
Yeah, it's like something's going on. Why am I so sad? I'm supposed to be happy. Right. I don't supposed to be sad, brother. Listen, I done my time. I'm supposed to be home happy. I'm supposed to meet some girl.
Right.
You know, I'm supposed to be in love again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm supposed to be in a relationship. And yet, look, 5 years later, I'm still not in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's like nobody wanted to talk to me. So I'm like, what is really going on?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm depressed all the time, but everybody I meet, I'm getting evicted from my house and people coming up to me, you know, trying to give me drugs to sell to get back on my feet. And I'm like, now I'm afraid.
All that temptation of that.
Because I'm like, these guys, what you trying to do, set me up, take my life from me? I'm 55 years old.
Yeah.
Why would you want to give me something to sell, you know, to send me back to prison?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, what's really going on? So I'm afraid, man. I really am afraid. So I find myself being enclosed in my house. Don't want to come out. Mm-hmm. And then God finally decided to tell me, go get help. Mm-hmm. And I went and got counseling.
That's a big deal.
Yes,
Stanley.
Taking medication.
So you, a lot of people don't take that step. They just slide into the abyss.
I can't never go back to prison again, man.
So you think that's why you took that step?
I can't.
You did that pain of knowing to slide back.
Yes.
You said, no matter what happens, I'm going to step into the unknown here.
Yes, I can't never allow that to happen to me again.
So you got help?
Yes, I went and got help. Found out I was suffering from what they call PTSD. Mm-hmm. I started taking medication for it, you know, and on Mother's Day I took my last pill, and I feel great.
So you just started feeling relief from that. So then the other part of this thing, and I think, you know, you because of this situation, it was hard to keep jobs and those types of things. But then when you started feeling like yourself, you decided, I want to do my own thing.
Yes,
I'm going to start, because when you were growing up, you always did handiwork, things.
Cut grass.
Yeah, so you kind of went back to I know that.
That's why now you understand why the story was called Prince on the Rise, the comeback story.
The comeback story.
Paid in full.
Yeah.
It was paid in full. The comeback story, I came back to who I was, you know, growing up. You know, cutting grass, raking leaves, cleaning yards. Yeah, that's what I did.
Things
as
that
a
made
kid.
you feel like yourself and feel good. Yeah,
yes, and so I'm very successful at it.
So, and then this Harris Stowe thing, you know, you get picked for that, and I think there were 7 or 8 people that were in that. And was that a useful program for entrepreneurs?
Very. Listen,
because I love this kind of stuff. These things that help people as they get the second chance opportunities. And I didn't know about this Harris Stowe thing until Tony told me about it.
This mega program, listen, the ladies that is in charge, the facilitators, they know their stuff. They are very successful in their business endeavors. I mean, they are very successful. Mm-hmm. And when you meet them, you can feel their sincerity. They are for real about helping you. They want you to grow like them. Yeah. They want you to be in a position that they are. They feel like this. If I can get you to be successful, now you add it on to my successful plate. Yeah. You know, you got a plate, right? You got different varieties of food on your plate. Mm-hmm. So you are a successful book writer. Here's a guy is a successful yard man.
Put you around these people.
Yeah. So now you're around all these people. So this is how they feel. They like, let us add on to our plate. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so they add on. So they believe in helping you.
Yeah, they're mentoring you of the wisdom they have.
Right.
No, I love that. And the thing that is really awesome is that you went through that. You kept stepping through it. Now you've doubled your business, and you got a cool car with cool wheels, by the way. I saw you pull up.
You like
yeah.
But that's my 60th birthday present.
Let me tell you, though, how weird was that for you to get out and start driving?
Don't ask me that question, brother.
That thing had to feel like it's going really fast.
Oh, my God. My first car was an 05 Buick Century, man.
They don't make those.
Man, it was.
What do you think the biggest thing was that was different for you getting out? Like, what had changed the most for you as your eyes saw everything being free after all that time?
The people, the way they dress. That blew my mind.
Different.
It's like everybody almost naked. I'm serious, brother. It was everywhere you go. Yeah. Everybody, the ladies, the men's got their butts out. The women got theirs out. I mean, everything. It was, I've never seen that. Like everybody was just advertising their body parts. I've never seen nobody wear so many tight clothes in their life. It was, I'm like, everywhere I turn, I'm like, wow, what the world?
Yeah, because everybody's wearing the same thing when you're in prison. So you don't even think about your clothes.
So it was like, man, and everybody moving so fast.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, man, yes.
Well, I got to tell you, Stanley, I am really proud of your story, what you've done, how you've stepped through things that were not easy. You know, a lot of people when they get out, you know, it's 2/3 go back in 3 years, 3/4 go back in 5. So there's you got into that and you stepped through something that you had never stepped through to go get help. And by getting help, you got to be more back to yourself. And then you started to realize I can do this on my own. And you're doing it, man. And that's so cool. And it's such a success story. And if you were going to tell somebody who's listening, what do you think you would impart to the audience of your experience of all of this?
Invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
You have to. You really have to get to know your worth. You have to know what is it that you want to be the master of your life. What is going to be your master? You know, smoking cigarettes, drinking, going to the clubs, or working, saving your money, being productive, you know, being kind to other people. Which one of those is going to be your masters? You know, you have to understand and you can't serve both of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my master is being kind to people, working hard, being around positive people, you know, not seeing color. I'm not with none of that negativity. I'm just not with it, you know, and not being with it, man. I have awesome friends. I really have awesome friends here in this city. I have them everywhere I go. I've been to Atlanta to audition for movies and have met people. You know, some of the people that was there to hear my testimony, you know what I'm saying, they was from out of town. You know, people came to witness this because people was like trying to figure out, man, where this guy from?
Yeah.
You know, what's his story? You know what I mean? And so, man, invest in yourself. Get to know who you are. You know, what you worth. What are you worth? You know, what is the one thing that you can do in this world that can make it a better place? Think like that. You know what I mean? That's what I do every day. I think like, what can I do today to make somebody happy?
What do you think, Stanley, out of all this, that you appreciate the most about having freedom back?
Man, working.
Yeah.
Working. I really appreciate. I am so appreciative of being able to work and make an honest dollar.
Wow. That's
just
deep.
Yeah. That really, it amazes me, brother. I promise you, man. And meeting you.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Meeting good people, man. You know, hey, man. It's
I appreciate
great, man.
that.
It's great.
It's been great meeting you too.
Yes.
Because Stanley Prince has a story, and it's a story that, man, I just think a lot of people can get a lot of nuggets of wisdom from how to handle your nightmare, get through your nightmare, and step to the other side. And really, you are free. You've set yourself free. You've set the demons are back behind you, and you're stepping forward. And I just think it's cool. Stanley, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story today. I appreciate it. I really do. For those out there looking for a book, I wrote one. It's called Nightmare Success. I love the likes. Leave a review if you want. Apple, Spotify. Leave me a message on BrentCassidy.com, my website. Everybody, what I used to say to people when I wrote from the true links, core links, stay strong, and I'll do the same. Nightmare Success, in and out.
Amen. That's right.
Thanks, folks.